Yeah, online students, is my voice is loud and clear? Online students, could you please confirm? Yeah, guys. So in the last class, we are discussing about the ANN coding part. So let us discuss the same in today's class. So guys, one more time, could you please confirm? Is my voice is clear? Done. Thank you. Thanks for confirmation. And let's start this. Okay, guys. So the step one is the business problem. What are the business problem we have discussed in the previous class? That is estimate the wind energy. We are going to estimate the wind energy based on the atmospheric conditions. What are the different atmospheric conditions are there? Based on that, we have to estimate. And in the last class, already we have seen this, right? And next, uh, where we are also having this data understanding and also data exploration. So we have already completed data exploration and all these things, right? Now, let us move on to the next step. So once the data cleaning was completed, everyone knows how to do the data cleaning, right? So once the data cleaning was completed and everything was completed, so by default here in this example, I have taken a clean data. Basically here SRK I have written in front of you in the last class, but basically it is a clean data. Now we are going to work with one more project in the today's class where we are going to do the some amount of data cleaning along with the data wrangling. This is another project which we are going to execute. Now, so after the data cleaning was completed, here what is the next step we have to do is we have to separate the input and output. So whichever the input columns comes under one category, we have to separate. Whichever the output columns comes under one category, we have to separate. Right? Now, so here what are the input and output is there now? Right? So here I'm considering the input and output variables. The next one is input and output variables. So we are going to separate the input and output variables. So for separating the input and output variables, we are just using the x and y. X is equal to df dot drop, columns is equal to energy. Means other than energy column, remaining everything we are going to consider as input. Output is equal to energy. The output variable whatever we are having is energy, right? So from sklearn dot model selection, we are importing train test split. So what are the train test split is there? Just we are trying to import the train test split, right? And here we are having the x train and y train. Now, what are the x train and y train is there? Okay, so how we are going to separate the data? The next one is called as splitting the data into two parts. That is called as training and testing. The concept is splitting the data into training and testing. Now, what is meant by training and testing? Okay, so let's cross check here. Okay, for this, let me explain in a simple way by taking one more time the data set. Here I'm trying to open the data set. And in this data set, just give me a minute. Now, let's take an example of certain records. Okay, we have in the last class I have taken the total 10 records now. Now in this 10, let's assume this is the data set. First, x is equal to df dot drop, columns is equal to energy. What is meaning of columns is equal to energy means apart from this is not there. This is separated. Apart from this is not there. Let's separate this. Now, apart from this everything will be considered as x. This will be considered as y. What are the x is there? It should be a data frame because it is a 2D. Whereas y will be always series. Y should be always series. If you observe clearly, df dot drop output variable. If I drop the output variable, balance everything will be considered as input variable. Now, if you ask what is the type of x? What is the type of x means? It is a pandas data frame. Similarly, if you ask what is the type of y? Okay, it is a series, pandas series. So, data frame and series. Now, always the input should be in the data frame and output should be in the series. Up to here, everyone is okay now? Next, after this, now total how many records are there? 10 records are there. Now, in these 10 records, one is output and one is input. Trying to split, everyone has understood, right? Sorry, separating the input and output variables. After separating the input and output variables, okay. Now, after separating the input and output variables, now balance. What are the balance is there? Now, total we are having the 10 records here. Now, what are the 10 records are there? In the 10 records, out of 10 records, what are the 10 records are there? In that, I'm going to take any two records separately like this. Only two records randomly. You can choose whichever you are interested, and you are going to separate the two records in this way. Now, when you separate the two records like this, okay, out of 10 records, when you separate the two records, now balance how many number of records are there here? 8 records are there. Here, how many records are there? 2 records are there. Records wise, 8. Okay, you are having the records wise. Now, what are the 8 records you are having? 8 records and 2 records. Now, for these 8 records, we call it as train data. These 8 records are called as train data. Let's make it as train. Now, within the train, these are all the x columns. So, simply I'm going to consider these 8 records with these 4 columns. 8 records with these 4 columns are called as x train. X train. Why it is called X train means within the train data, that too it is X related. X. So it is called as exit train. Okay. Now, whereas this one, this is output variable now of train data. Within the train data, output variable that we call it as y train. This is y train. This is x train and this is y train. So randomly we are going to separate 80 is to 20. Total 10 records are there, right? Out of 10 records, 10 into 0.8. That is nothing but 8 records. 10 into 0.8 is 8 records. 10 into zero point 0.2 is 2 records. Sir, here 10 instead of 10 records, for example, 11 are there. So 11 into 0.8. 0.8 is 80%. The meaning of 0.8 is 80% is used for training. For testing, we are going to use the 20%. 20% for testing. So 11 into 0.8 is nothing but 8.8. 11 into 0.2 is nothing but 2.2. So whenever you are having that 11 records, round figure of 8.8 is 9 records. Round figure of 2.2 is 2 records. So 9 records should be used when you are having the 11 records total. In that 11 records has to go for the train, 2 records has to go for the test. So just 80%. The logic is 80%. Round figure we are going to apply. That's it. Now, if you observe here in this example, what are we are discussing here? In this example, total how many records are there? What is the total shape? 9,568. Now 9,568 records into zero point 0.8. What are the 0.8 is there? 7,654.4. Round figure of this one is nothing but it is going to apply the round like this. Round. Round of this one is nothing but 7,654 records are used for training. Balance number of records are used for the testing. It is going to select randomly. It is going to select very randomly. Okay. And from that random data, it is going to get the output. Try to get the output. Now, what are the output it is going to get randomly from this data? Okay. Here, sir, first question is why we have to split the data into two parts like this? Training and testing, why we have to do this? So as I've told you, these records are called as X train. These records are called as Y train. Now again, what is these records are called as in the same way? This is called as X test. This is related to text data and that too it is X. So it is X test. Coming to this one, it is Y test. It is Y underscore test. Y test. So this is X test, Y test. X train, Y train. So this is the overall complete. Okay. Now you are having the total 4. X test, X train, X train, X test, Y train and Y test. Total 4 are there. Now, okay, 4 are there. What we are going to do? Using the train data, we are going to create the model. So model always should be created only with the train data. So this train data has to be sent into the neurons. So what are the neurons are there and we are going to create all this model. Na? This model has to be designed, means calculating the finally RMSE, everything. In the last class, what we have discussed how the neural network works and finally calculating the RMSE till the calculating RMSE and completing all the epochs, everything I have told you, right? All these things has to be done only on the train data. It should not be done on the test data. So everything will be done only on the train data. Now, once the train data, with the train data, everything was calculated and the model was completed. Once the model means the last final weights, what are the final weights are there? These weights are there now. That is final model. We are going to substitute X test data here and it will predict the Y for the test data. It will predict. So that here we are going to calculate the RMSE, test RMSE we are going to calculate. If you do for this one, we call it as train RMSE. For test data, we are going to calculate the test RMSE. And we are going to compare whether train RMSE and test RMSE are almost same or not. Why, sir? Miss? Very simple. In the future, for example, if I say that, guys, this in the tomorrow, if you predict the value, and this is going to be the value, miss, proof. What is the proof for that? You are saying something. What is the proof? So here I'm going to split some data randomly now. For that random data, if I'm able to predict the answers correctly, if I'm able to predict the answers correctly for that random data, then everything is perfect only, right? Yes or no? Understood or not? Everyone, could you please confirm? Yes, clear, right? Done. Same way, okay? Now, see here. Total, yes. Now, total, how many records are there here? Total number of records are 9,568, comma 5. 5 means what? Columns. Now, coming to the rows wise, what is the total number of rows? 9,568. First, divide into two parts. One is train, one is test. How much percentage we have to use for the training? What is the percentage? 80%. What is the percentage we have to use for the testing? 20 percentage. So first, let me split the data into two parts. So here I am writing the train test splitter x comma y, where test size is equal to 0.2. What is meant by test size is equal to 0.2 means testing is 0.2. Automatic training is 0.8. Now let's cross check. Let's cross check extrain data. First, let us cross check the extrain. Can you see total how many records are there? 7,654 records with 4 columns. So here, how you are having the, in this example, 8 records with 4 columns, same logic. Point understood, guys? 7,654 records. Now, similarly, by train. Okay, so total 7,654. Now, coming to the X test. X test. So we are having the balance. So once we remove the number of records, what is the balance number of records? Right? This is the balance number of records. Done? Now, here, yes. Now, see, here you are going to split the data randomly, right? Randomly, pure random. Sir, why these records are selected in this order is pure random. Number of records only fixed, but pure random. Now, what are the random data I have chosen? For example, here, extrain I am choosing, guys. One more time. Extrain. What is the record number? What is the first record number? Index number 496. Second record index number 294, 6796, 6785. Now 1203. Now, total how many records are there? 7,654 records. Now, this is the order of the records which you are having. Now, with this order, okay, now I'm going to perform model and everything. Now, you got some kind of 90% accuracy. 90% accuracy you got. Done. After getting the 90% accuracy, now you are trying to execute one more time. When you are trying to execute one more time, what happens? Different records may come. Records may be not be same. So here, see, for example, I am splitting the data. I mean, one more time. Now, same numbers are there or different numbers are there here? Everyone, could you please confirm? Same records or different records? Same records. Why it is showing the same records? What is the reason behind that is here random state is equal to 0 I have taken. For example, if I don't write random state is equal to 0, then what happens? You are going to get the records. Each time you execute, each time you will get the different values because pure random, it will not constant. Every time it will changes. So to log that, don't change every time. Whatever you have shuffled for the first time, log the data. To log the data, here we are going to write the random state to log the data. random state is equal to some number. That number you can write anything as per your choice, just to log the data. Okay. So now any number you can write, some number you have to write that it is going to log. There is no rule that you have to write 0 only or 10 only or anything. Some number when you have written, or simply if you write the true also, fine. Number means literally bool of any number. Bool of any number is nothing but true. So it is going to log the data. Okay, either if you write the 0 or if you write some other number or 50 number or 40 number or I'm writing 100 number. Is there any difference? Means nothing. Now here what are the numbers you are having? 8948 or something. Now re-execute one more time. See, one more time. One more time. Every time the data is locked, it is not going to change. Point is clear? There you can write any one number. There is no specified number. This one only you have to use. Point is clear, first point. Now, once the data was designed, okay, now we are going to start the modeling. Next step is modeling. Now, within the modeling, what are the modeling we are having? Within the modeling, okay, we are going to design the perceptron model. What are the perceptron model is there? Now, in this perceptron model, okay, now we are having the sequential. Okay. Now, train test split is a default function from sklearn.model selection. Exactly. So from sklearn.model selection, this is one of the function is available. This is one of the function within this particular module. If you remember in the modules concept I told you, we can either import a single function or we can import the entire module. What is the difference between the import SRK versus from SRK import X? Do you remember that one? In the starting initial classes of module we have discussed. So from a module, we can import a single function, or from a module, we can import the entire module, all the functions of entire module. Right? Now, okay, next. Next. Now, what are the P model is there? So in this P model, sequential. First, I'm going to start with the sequential. Now, what is meant by sequential? Sequential means in which order of layers I'm going to write. In that order, you have to execute. That is the meaning of sequential. Sequential means the order of execution which you have to do. Okay, sequential meaning is that the order of execution. Right? Now, in the sequential, first you are going to add the layers, one layer after second layer after third layer, next layer, next layer, next layer, like that. You are going to add the multiple layers. Now, what are the multiple layers you are going to add in the sequential order, one by one, one by one? Now, here in the P model dot add, in the add dense, inside that input dimensions is equal to 4. So first let me explain this one. Input dimensions is equal to 4 means 4 neurons. Units is equal to 1 means 1. Dense means this is the 1. Activation function is equal to ReLU. I am going to give for this one as ReLU. Kernel initializer is equal to uniform. Uniform means 4 values has to be selected, out of which 2 values should be negative, 2 values should be positive. Okay. And optimizer is equal to Adam. What is meant by optimizer is equal to Adam is gradient descent algorithm. You are going to apply the gradient descent algorithm. And loss is equal to mean square error. Loss is equal to mean square error. Already I have Earlier itself, I already explained this one. Okay, earlier itself, when I'm explaining the design of the neural network itself, I have shown you the code also. Okay, dense means connection. Okay, dense means connection. That is input dimensions. What are the input dimensions are there? 4. Units is equal to 1. And dense means this one. Connect them. Connect the units like this. This is called as dense. Okay. Next, activation function ReLU. ReLU means which of the neuron is collecting the data. For that, it is going to apply the ReLU before giving the output. So this neuron will process the data, right? Which neuron will process the data? For that particular neuron, we have to give the activation function. Kernel initializer is equal to uniform. That is nothing but W1, W2, W3, W4. So 4 weights are required between minus 1 by square root of 4 to plus 1 by square root of 4. That is nothing but minus 0.5 to plus 0.5. Between minus 0.5 to plus 0.5, I want the total 4 neurons. Between minus 0.5 to plus 0.5, I want the 4 neurons. That is minus 0.4, minus 0.3, 0.2, 0.15. Something I'm going to write like this. 2 negative values, 2 positive values. So we are going to select the total weights uniform. Uniform means how many of them are less than 0, that many of them should be greater than 0. That many weights should be greater than 0. Okay. Next, Adam. Adam is gradient descent. Loss is equal to mean square error. What is meant by mean square error? Mean square error means nothing but you are going to calculate the error. Since it is a regression project, okay? Since it is a regression project, we are going to calculate the mean square error. Now, I'm going to fit the data. Now tell me guys, which data I'm trying to fit here? Which data I'm trying to fit? Only the trained data. Is the point is clear guys? Loss means what error it is going to calculate. What error it has to calculate is called as loss. Right? We can't use directly root mean square error. Generally, we have to use the RMSE, right? Directly, we cannot use the RMSE. We are going to calculate the MSE. For that, we are going to apply the square root. Later, we are going to apply the square root. Shweta, here optimizer is equal to Adam is nothing but gradient descent algorithm. Means you have to gradually decrease or increase the weights to reduce the error gradually. To reduce the error gradually. Sir, is the middle layers will be inserted? This is perceptron model, na? For perceptron model, there is no middle layers, right? Input layer and output layer only, na? Vidyasagar. This is perceptron model. Design the perceptron model. And now I'm going to fit on X train comma Y train. Now I'm going to fit the data with the fit means what? Calculate. So now the entire calculations. What is meant by entire calculations? Taking the first record and completing the first forward propagation and calculating the predicted value and from that trying the RMSE. So total how many number of epochs has to be done? Total number of epochs is equal to 100. 100 times it has to do. Now, batch size. What is meant by batch size is equal to 32. What is meant by batch size? I told you that the entire data will be divided into multiple batches and it will always try to identify the global minimum. Instead of local minimum value, global minimum. Already I told you in the class. Okay, what is the difference between the local minimum versus global minimum? Okay, done. So fit on X train comma Y train. Batch size is equal to 32. Epochs is equal to 100. 100 epochs will be there. Now, so what are the 100 epochs you are having? Okay, so here it is throwing the error. P model dot fit on x train comma y train. Batch size is equal to 32, epochs is equal to 100. 1 minute. Let me re-execute. I'm re-executing, guys. Just a minute. Yeah, guys. Here, just a minute. As one of the student is saying that SRK, but SRK was replaced now. It is replaced. There is no difference. If you see here, the SRK was replaced with 15.5. Okay. Could you check once the variable name, like x underscore train, y underscore train? There is no difference in the x train comma y train. That is also perfect. Here the mistake, 1 minute. Random state also I have given correctly only. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Let me cross check. Very soon. Model.add is showing the. Could you check the data types? 1 minute. Let me cross check once. Where is the mistake? I don't think in the data cleaning there is a mistake because here after the data cleaning was completed, once the data cleaning was completed, I have replaced the this one. So here there is no problem. Okay, as one of the student is asking to check the D types. Let me cross check the D types. Okay, temperature is still in the object. Yes, that is a problem. So here I have replaced the SRK with 15.5 also. The data type of the temperature is still in the object. So I'm just modifying this one. Okay, here is the problem, guys. The problem is here. The data type of temperature is yes. So now let me change this data type. So to change this data type to so I'm using the df of temperature column. What are the temperature column I'm having? Temperature. Okay. Dot as type. Okay. I'm going to take as type as float. Now everything was converted to this. Okay. Done. Now, once this is done, now again I'm going to do the same x and y, trying to split. Now I'll create the model one more time, and now I am fit the data. It is going to work now. Yeah, guys, just to give me 2 minutes. Some issue, some internet issue. Just to give me 2 minutes. Yeah. Guys, could you please confirm? Now it is clear? Done. Okay, guys. So, uh, so here, if you observe clearly in this point, okay. Now, so here we are having the P model dot fit x train comma y train. Okay. After x train comma y train, here I am going to write the batch size. Batch size. Now, what is meant by batch size? It is going to divide into the multiple batches, means multiple records. Now, total how many records are there in the X train? Within the X train, total how many records? Within the X train. If you observe your X train data, within the X train data, you are having the total number of records is equal to 7,654. Now, what are the 7,654 records are there? Okay, 7,654 records divided by 32. Now, if you see here, what is the number you are going to get? So each batch consists of 240 records. One batch consists of 240 records. That is the reason here it is showing the 240 records. Now, after calculating the 240, this is the mean square error. We asked it to calculate the mean square error. Na? So it is calculating the mean square error for the epoch 1. For the epoch 2, this is the error. Sir, here 240 is there, okay. What means it is considering only 240 records? Yes, 240 records of each batch. Means total 7,654. Na? Like this, it has divided into 32 batches. 240, 240, 240, 240, like this. Now, in this 240 records, it is calculating MSC. For this 240, MSC. For this 240, MSC. For this 240, MSC. Means each batch MSC. And from each, out of all the batches, which batch has given the least error? Out of all the batches, one batch will give the least error. Na? Least MSC value. The least MSC value it is showing here. This is the least MSC value. Point is clear? Everyone understood or not? Yes or no? Understood or not? Everyone, could you please confirm? Yeah, here Dilip is asking to repeat and how to decide the batch size. Leela Krishna is asking how to decide the batch size. The batch size is 2 power n. It is not a fixed value. If you remember in the previous classes, what are the previous classes? As remember guys, every class is connected to each other and these topics I already completed in the multiple classes. If you open your past, what are the classes we have completed? Like in the ANN, just the notes of ANN. Just I'm trying to open the notes of ANN. So in this already I told you in the previous class, whoever has written the notes, what are fixed, what are not fixed. What are fixed and what are not fixed. Right? So parameters which are fixed, I told you. Parameters which are not fixed, I told you. Out of the parameters which are not fixed, in that number of epochs is not fixed, batch size is also not fixed. But the batch size is going to be 2 power n. 2 power n means n is equal to 1. Means either you can start with the batch size of 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, like this. You are going to take the batch sizes, different batch sizes. That is also not a fixed value. It is not a fixed value. Okay, point is clear. Second, epochs every time 100, it's our choice. So some of them are fixed, some of them are not fixed. So here, okay, so we are having the compile and we are going to do the gradient descent and we are going to divide the entire data into multiple batches. Now, what are the multiple batches are there? These multiple batches are going to divide the data into multiple batches and in each batch you are going to get the fixed number of records. Okay, these many number of records. Now, next, after these many number of records, once these many number of records are there and everything is there, now P model dot predict. You are going to apply the P model dot predict on X train. Means you are going to predict the value. And from that, you are going to calculate the RMSC, I mean MSC followed by RMSC. And this is the RMSC value, guys. Now, here, the what are the epochs are there? Na? The number of epochs are not fixed. The batch size is not fixed. We have to do the trial and error method. Both trial and error method. Both for the epochs. Epochs and along with the batch size, we have to do the trial and error method. Clear, guys? Everyone. Done. Still any questions? Anyone, any questions? Could you please come for me? Now, for the test data, can you observe for the test data? For the test data, what I am doing? Only predict. Now, what is the common you are observing in the train data is model dot predict on X train. Here also, what are the model is there? Model dot predict on X test. These both are common. Calculating the RMSC, calculating the RMSC, common. What is the difference then? Means fit is applied only on the train data. Fit is only applied on the train data. Okay. Fit is applied only on the train data. Predict and calculating the evaluation is done on the train and test data. So now train RMSC, test RMSC is almost same. Understood or not? Yes or no? Just everyone please confirm me before moving. Here, some of the students are Niranjan is saying that not at all. What is not at all, Niranjan? I didn't understand your question. Niranjan. Niranjan, could you please confirm me? No. Niranjan, I mean not understood at all. Which one? Which one you have not understood at all? But now it is clear. Okay, it is clear now, right? But now it is clear. Done. Perfect. So we are going to calculate the train RMSC, test RMSC. And after calculating the train and test RMSC, now can we predict the output Y just by giving the X input data? Means for the new data. Exactly. Directly what are the new data is there? The new data also simply you can provide as the input. Now once you provide as the input, it will predict for the future data. Point is clear, guys? Understood everyone or not? Yes or no? Now, everyone are having the steps involved. Earlier, I have told you this point. Do you remember one point I have told you? Steps involved in the regression and classification project. First, tell me, everyone are having the notes with you or not? This is most important. Steps involved in regression and classification projects. Steps involved in the regression and classification projects. If you open that steps, in that first we have discussed business problem, understanding. Second, we have discussed data understanding along with the data exploration. That is our step 2, data exploration. Step 3 is nothing but data cleaning and data wrangling. This is our step 3. Okay, data cleaning and data wrangling. Step 4. What is step 4 is nothing but modeling. 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 Step 5 is nothing but evaluation. Now, in this modeling only, first we are going to design the neural network. First, we are going to design the neural network. In this design, what it has to calculate every time. In the design, what it has to calculate. So when you are fitting on the data, it has to calculate something, right? Whatever the data I have given, at the end of the data, what it has to calculate? What it has to calculate? That is mean square error, it has to calculate. So you're going to give the loss. Loss, what are the losses there? That one will be calculated each time. For the each epoch, at the end of the each epoch, it is going to calculate this one. Okay. At the end of the each epoch, it is going to calculate this one. That is the design of the neural network. And you are going to fit the data. Now, when you fit the data, the moment you fit the data, it starts calculating. For every epoch, it will calculate the MSC. So first epoch, it will calculate the MSC. Second epoch, it will calculate the MSC. Like that, for every epoch, it will calculate the MSC. Now here, if you observe clearly, total how many epochs I have given here? 100 epochs. Batch size 32. If I don't give 32 also, default it will take. So here I am writing the clearly default. Default batch size. What are the default batch sizes there? The default batch size is equal to 32. That is the default batch size. Okay, default batch size is equal to 32. Now, with the default batch size of 32, it is calculating each time the loss function. What are the loss is there? It is calculating the loss function. And what are the loss it has calculated? One by one, one by one, one by one. It has calculated the loss. That is nothing but MSC. MSC value calculated. Square root of this one is nothing but RMSC. Now, if you observe, first epoch, what is MSC? 2,06,721. Now, till if you come to the 100 epochs also, it is almost same. Means there is no much difference. So now adding the more number of epochs for this one, should I try for 200, for 300 also should I try or not? Anyone can tell me? Should I try for 200? Yes or no? No, because there is no use. Perfect. So for example, all the epochs are, each epoch wise the error is reducing. And in the 100 epoch, the least error you got in the 100. In that case, I have to increase the epochs or should I not increase the epochs in that case? Point is clear? So like that, we have to decide ourselves in which case we have to increase the epochs, in which case we should not increase the epochs. Everyone understood clearly? Yes or no? And finally, we are going to calculate the train RMSC and test RMSC. Understood, guys? Now, in this total, how many offline students are there? Could you raise your hand? Because since I'm taking completely online, how many offline students are there? Could you please click on the raise hand? Dilip. Okay. Other than Dilip, Anita, Suresh Babu. Okay, guys. All the offline students from tomorrow we'll have the session on offline only. Okay. Just yesterday and today I have taken the online session due to my health issue. And last week also I have taken I have not able to take the classes properly due to my health issue. Now everything is perfect. I mean, from tomorrow I'm going to take from the offline only. Okay. And please intimate to other students also. If you are having the connections, please intimate to other students also. Right? Tomorrow there is no online is there. You no need to attend online. Offline students, you can attend offline only. Whoever the offline students are there. Today, there is no offline class, right? Today, there is no offline. So whoever the students are attending the offline, basically, okay, who are attending the classroom every day. Basically, guys, here I'm writing clearly, since I'm not feeling well, okay, based due to my health problem, health issue, okay, due to my health issue on Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. 3 days, these 3 days, I'm on leave. 3 days leave. Plus Monday and today is Tuesday. These 2 days, I'm taking the 2 days online class. 2 days online. Due to my health reason, 3 days I'm on leave. 2 days I have taken completely online without offline. Completely online. Okay. So, but from tomorrow, that is tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow, from tomorrow, we'll have the regular class. Okay. From tomorrow, we'll have regular class. Regular class means, I think online students, there is no difference. But offline students, from tomorrow, we'll have regular 1.5 hour session. What are the 1.5 hour session we are having every time? Regular 1.5 hour session, completely. Regular 1.5 hour session completely. Okay. Both offline and online. Both offline and online. Done, guys? Is clear now? So what are the 3 days? Last 3 days, I'm on leave. Done? Uh, tomorrow we are having the regular class. Even on even on uh, uh, January 1st also we are having the class. I think there is no leave. If Naresh IT officially gives the leave for everyone means it is leave for us. Otherwise, we'll have the class. You will get the update tomorrow. But tomorrow we are having the class. Day after tomorrow also 90% we'll have the class only. And every Saturday also we'll have the class. Dilip, it is not in my hand. If Naresh IT gives for all the batches, means for every batch, if they give holiday, means it is holiday. Otherwise, we'll have the class. Just it is 1.5 hour session only, right, for you. Done, Dilip. Okay, guys. Now I'm going to share you this data set. Now, what are the data set is there? I'm going to share you the data set along with the code. Both of them I'm going to share in Google Drive right now. Just give me 1 minute. I'm going to share right now. Now, okay. And now we have seen the perceptron model. Okay, perceptron model code only we have done till now. What are the perceptron model? Okay, code. And we have to do, and we have observed here, what is the error? 454. When we are applying the perceptron model, we got the error of 454. Now let us try with the instead of perceptron model, ANN model. For the same data set, let us execute the ANN model. And for the ANN model, what are the ANN model is there? For the ANN model, okay, instead of perceptron model, ANN model. For the ANN model, let us see whether the error can be reduced or not. Data set will remain same. Only the model will change. Means let's add some kind of layers in between layers. Some additional layers let us add, and let's cross check whether the error can be reduced or not. First, everyone please go through this today, and we'll have that one in the tomorrow's class. ANN model we'll have in the tomorrow's class. So that once you understand, the only difference between the perceptron and this one is here you are going to add the one more layer. Only difference is you are adding the layers. Here next after this layer, layer, only this part will change. Compile will remain same. Fit on X train, Y train will remain same. Batch size, epochs, everything will remain same. Just it is additional 10 or 15 minutes. But the I can take now itself. But the problem is if you go through once this one, if you go through this once, so that it will be clear for you tomorrow. Point is clear, everyone? Yes or no? Yes. Right? Now itself, I'm going to share you the notes, guys. Just to hold for 1 minute. Now itself. Here I'm adding the folder ANN, that is artificial neural networks. Done. In this artificial neural networks, just I'm adding the nodes. Nodes, Google, along with that, okay, nodes and code with dataset, three of them. Three of them I'm adding. PPT I'm adding, dataset along with the nodes. Okay, please cross check once and go through once. Yeah, I'm adding this. Just wait for 2 minutes. One minute. Yeah, I have added the notes. Now you can cross check once, everyone. Refresh and cross check. And along with that, I'm also adding the notepad of ANN. Basically, generally, I will not add the notepads, right? Everyone knows. But this time I'm adding because due to my health reason, properly I have not taken the classes. Maybe due to disconnectivity, you may not understand. So that is the reason I'm adding from my end the notes. Notepad. What are the notepad is there? Even the notepad also I'm adding here. Okay, in the Google Drive itself. Right? Done. Next. Ramesh, I have added everything. Could you check once? Ramesh, now? Yes, Bharat, that we are going to discuss in the tomorrow's class. The importance we are going to see in the tomorrow's class. Yes, I'll share you the data sets. In tomorrow's class, we'll discuss everything. Ramesh, the folder name is self ANN, Artificial Neural Networks. Done. Not updated, sir. No, Abhishek, could you open in your drive? Could everyone open your drive once? In your drive, there is a folder called as ANN. Here is the folder. In this, once you click on this, you can find. Open your Google Drive. Ramesh, Arthrav and Ramesh says that not visible. Uh, have you opened the Google Drive? This is the Google Drive, no? Just refresh once. Done? Okay, done, guys. We'll continue tomorrow.